Hello and welcome to the 10th episode of the MPP Insider. I'm Mike Mino. On today's episode, we're going to bring you the latest installment of Marijuana in the News. We're going to tell you the story of the latest victim of marijuana prohibition, and we're also going to have a political roundup where we take a look at what some politicians have been saying about marijuana policy. First up, in the news. Our top news story today is actually developing as we're filming this segment, and that's in New York, where MPP and our allies, New York Patients First, are working to make sure that medical marijuana is included in the New York State budget. Recently, Governor David Paterson indicated he might not be supportive of such a solution, but because of legislative time constraints, this is really the only way New York can pass its medical marijuana bill this year. So we're trying to get it in the budget. We will know very shortly whether or not New York is going to be the 15th medical marijuana state in the nation. We're also following major news out of Great Britain last week, where Sativex, a medical marijuana spray, it's a whole plant marijuana extract, liquid medical marijuana essentially, was recently approved for use in treating MS patients. It's been legal in Canada since 2005 for treating neuropathic pain, and once again this story confirms the scientific community's take that marijuana does have medical efficacy, and it's another unfortunate signal that the U.S. is falling behind in the urgent drive to not only research this medicine, but make it available to patients in need. We're also following a couple stories out of Oregon, where it seems increasingly likely that that state's voters will be able to decide this November whether medical marijuana dispensaries are added to Oregon's already existing medical marijuana law. Oregon's Board of Pharmacy recently moved to make marijuana a Schedule II drug there as well. So next up, we're going to talk about the latest installment of Victims of Prohibition. The victim we want to highlight for this segment is 21-year-old Trevon Cole, who was recently shot and killed by police officers during a raid on his home in Las Vegas, Nevada. Trevon was shot and killed in front of his fiancée, who was 9 months pregnant with his child. It's an absolutely horrific story. You can read the full details about it on our blog. Officers claim Trevon was selling marijuana, but that's still very much in question. It's also being questioned why they needed to use such harsh tactics on a situation that was not violent at all. It's also another reminder once again that marijuana does not kill people, but prohibition all too often does. And if we need to end, which we do, if we want to end these horrifically backwards policies of prohibition, a lot of that is going to fall to leaders in our political arena. And that's why we're going to bring you this latest segment here on The Insider, Political Roundup, where we take a look at some different politicians across the country and what they're saying about marijuana policy. The first politician we want to highlight might be a surprise for some viewers. That's former Alaska Governor Sarah Palin. During a recent appearance on Fox News, Governor Palin not only said that marijuana is a, quote, minimal problem in this country, but she suggested that perhaps police officers have better things to do than enforce marijuana laws. In Vermont, a candidate for governor, Peter Shumlin, who's running for the Democratic nomination for governor, went a step further, actually putting his support behind an effort to decriminalize the possession of marijuana in Vermont. That's something MPP has been lobbying for a number of years. And I love this next story. In Montana, Governor Brian Schweitzer became possibly the first U.S. governor to visit a medical marijuana dispensary. During his visit, the governor not only reaffirmed his support for the state's medical marijuana law, but said he would be supportive of efforts to regulate the industry. And finally, we want to draw some attention to former New Mexico Governor Gary Johnson, long a friend of MPP, who this week published a great op-ed in the Sacramento Bee where he said the time has come to end marijuana prohibition and finally tax and regulate marijuana the same way we do alcohol. Very encouraging signs from politicians all over the country and all over the political spectrum. So for updates on all these stories, please stay tuned to our blog and site. And until next time, for the MPP Insider, I am Mike Mino. Thanks for watching.